Be quite
Right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for coming. My name is Matthew Zajac. I'm the Artistic Director of Dog Star Theatre Company. And we have our actresses here, Helen Mackay and Sara Shaarawi. And we have Lara here, who's doing Arabic translation. I know there aren't any Arabic speakers in the audience, apart from you, Hannah. But there may well be a number online, because this event is being streamed live on YouTube as we speak.
مساء الخير للجميع. بحب يعرفكم على نفسه. هو Matthew. Say your name because I couldn't catch. Zajac. ومعه كمان المساعدين تبعونه أو اللي بده يقدموا عن المسرحية يحكوا Sara Shaarawi
Helen Mackay.
هو بيعرف إنه ما في عرب اليوم عم موجودين مشان أترجم لهم أنا، بس هو بيتأمل إنه يكون في على الأونلاين حضور، مشان هيك نحن هلا عم نترجم للعربي. أهلا وسهلا فيكم.
Couple of health and safety things. Yes, you are obliged to keep your mask on during the performance. Those of us on stage will not have to. And if, in the event of a fire alarm, we go out that way, I think that's all I need to tell you as far as health and safety is concerned.
Okay. بالنسبة لإجراءات الأمن والسلامة، في بعض الإجراءات اللي لازم إنه تعرفوا عنها. أول شيء لازم يكون القناع محطوط طول فترة وجودكم في القاعة هي. والشيء الثاني إنه في حال أي حدوث أي طوارئ، فمخرج الطوارئ هو هذا الباب.
And I'll just say a few words about what's about to happen. Helen and Sara, with me doing the stage directions, are going to read the first draft of Razan Madhoon's play Guests.
راح نحكي لكم اشرح نعمل هلا راح نقرا المسودة الأولى لمسرحية رزان اللي اسمها ضيف. راح يقروها معه سارة وهيلين.
This will take about 1 hour, and then we'll have a 5-minute break, comfort break, and then we'll have a 30 minutes question and answer session.
راح تاخذ القراية مدة ساعة. بعد الساعة هاي راح يصير في مثل استراحة. بعد الاستراحة راح يكون في 30 دقيقة أسئلة وإجابات.
And the purpose of this event is really primarily to assist Razan, the writer, as she develops her ideas for the second draft of the play. So the question and answer session we have after this is actually very important from that point of view. So please do participate, comment, talk about the strengths and weaknesses you feel that you received from the reading and from the play, and all that will feed into Razan's work on the next draft. So that's really important.
الهدف اليوم من القراءة الأولية هاي إنه نحاول نساعد رزان في تطوير مسرحيتها. فكل الأسئلة والإجابات اللي راح تصير بعد المسرحية بعد ما تنتهي القراءة هاي، وعم بترجاكم هو إنه تشاركوا بقد ما بتقدروا بالأسئلة وشيء، لأنه هذا بيساعد على تطوير مسرحية والقصة تبعت مسرحية رزان. هذا كله راح يفيدها وراح يساعدها تخلق النسخة الثانية يعني.
The reading will, I think I mentioned it, will last about an hour. And basically at the end of the Q&A we'll all be rewarded with a few nibbles and a wee drink up at the back or whatever, which will all be provided free of charge. So thanks very much for being here.
بحب أقول لكم إنه بعد ساعة ما تخلص القراءة رح يكون تم مكافأتكم في مقبلات صغيرة بسيطة وهي مجانية بالطبع. بعد المسرحية ممكن بعد ناخذ هالاستراحة هاي مع بعض المقبلات المحضرة مسبقا في الخلف.
Now for those Arabic speakers who are watching, the play is in English. There's a tiny little bit of Arabic. We may develop more Arabic into the play in future, but Lara will return for the Q&A. So for now, thank you so much, Lara.
بالنسبة للمسرحية راح تكون باللغة الإنجليزية للحضور اللي عم يسمعوا وبدهم بالعربي. يعني المسرحية أغلبها باللغة الإنجليزية، راح يكون في مقاطع بسيطة باللغة العربية. وبالأخير يعني أنا موجودة مشان أساعد بالأسئلة والأجوبة إذا في حاجة لها.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, let's go. Okay. Guests by Razan Madhoon. A fabric shop. Day. Rolls of fabric of different colours are standing in one corner next to a pile of disorganised fabric on the floor. A sewing machine is sitting in another corner. Edith, a Scottish woman, is sitting on her desk and busy going through some accounts papers. A moment later, Edith lifts up her head as the shop's door opens, with Amal shyly letting herself in. Amal is a Palestinian refugee, covering her hair with a scarf, wearing casual trousers and a light shirt. Amal takes a couple of slow steps in.
Hi there. How can I help you?
I saw a flyer from one of the council events. You're looking for a volunteer.
That's right.
I want to volunteer.
Oh, thanks for coming. I'm Edith.
They shake hands.
I'm Amal.
I'm looking for someone who's interested in fabric and wanting to...
I'm interested. Is it okay if I have a look at the fabric you have there?
Of course, please do.
Amal goes to the rolls of cloth and begins to touch the fabric, strokes it with the palm of her hand, looks at it passionately. Edith watches her.
So, Amal, what got you interested in volunteering in this fabric shop?
I used to be a draper.
Oh, you're a draper. Nice.
Yes, I worked at my father's fabric shop back home. We used to make curtains, cushions.
Oh, how lovely. And where's home?
Palestine. I'm from Gaza. Gaza?
Oh, wow. I've never met anyone from Palestine before.
But I haven't practiced for years. It would be nice to do it again. This cloth is beautiful.
It is beautiful, isn't it? It's a new selection of silk I bought recently.
Silk is nice, and it looks and feels great. Though it can be difficult to clean, cotton is always the more popular choice.
That's right.
Or sometimes people go for velvet curtains, for the most privacy possible.
What sort of material did you sell at your father's shop?
Velvet, linen, and a bit of silk.
And what were your responsibilities there?
I was a textile designer.
How interesting.
I also used to have a vintage wooden weaving machine where I designed and created my own fabric. I loved that.
You designed and created your own fabric. It's impressive.
Oh, I loved it. I'm from a tailor's family, and I grew up surrounded by fabric. My grandparents, my father, and uncles are all tailors and drapers.
And your mother, I presume.
My mum passed away when I was very young. My father looked after me and my two brothers.
I'm sorry to hear that.
You're fine. I was very young. The family wanted my father to marry again, but he didn't want to. He devoted himself to us and his fabric shop. The small shop grew to become a big, popular shop in Gaza. Until recently.
Are you in touch with your father? Would you like a cup of tea?
That'd be lovely, thanks.
Please, have a seat.
Amal sits, Edith starts making the tea.
So, what are you looking for from this volunteering opportunity?
I would like very much to work with fabric again. Scotland.
Well, that's excellent. Did you take milk, sugar?
No milk, two sugars, please.
That's a bit sweet.
I have a sweet tooth.
Edith puts 2 sugars in Amal's cup, stirs, hands it to her. They drink. Amal puts her cup down.
How long have you been in Scotland?
2 years in Scotland.
And how do you find it?
It's lovely. Honestly, I didn't know what was Scotland before I come here.
Did you know it would be cold?
I did not know it was this cold. I learned it the hard way. See, this coat is permanent. I never take it off.
Yes, I noticed you hadn't taken it off.
Well, I'm joking, but I'm always cold.
I'm presuming it's quite hot in Palestine?
Everything is hot in Palestine, not only the weather. Sorry, that was a dark joke. I meant the political situation is hot.
Oh, I see. I don't always get jokes. Well, how about your family? Are they with you?
No, I'm alone here.
Are they well? Are you in touch with them?
Is this a Scottish pattern? I heard you have different patterns for family names.
Oh, yes. We call it tartan. This one is Clan Stewart. This is my family's tartan.
We have something similar in Palestine. The embroidery on traditional Palestinian dresses tells you which city of Palestine you're coming from.
Really? And what would the embroidery be like for you in your setting?
The pattern from El Majdal city, which my grandmother used to wear. It was green and red patterns on a black dress. The green refers to the heavens and the red refers to hell.
Edith looks at the red in her Scottish tartan.
How interesting. Heaven and hell.
Edith goes back to her desk and sips from her tea. Amal does the same.
So, why don't we give it a try? And have you volunteer here?
That'd be amazing.
Is tomorrow good?
It is perfect.
Fabulous. We can do a bit of tidying and sort out the fabric we have. Is 8 AM tomorrow good, or is that too early?
No, it's great.
Well, wonderful. Thanks for dropping by, Amal.
Thanks, and pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure is mine.
Amal stands up and shakes hands with Edith.
See you tomorrow, Amal.
See you tomorrow.
With a big smile on her face, Amal leaves the shop, while Edith is watching her curiously. Amal's flat, day. A small studio flat with little furniture. Some notes of English words are hanging on the wall. Amal wears kitchen gloves and is scraping the wall. She coughs, but continues to scrape the wall. She coughs again, harder. She stops and takes off her gloves, puts them aside and takes her inhaler, and inhales. She goes to sit on her sofa, puts her phone on, some music, starts folding her washing and swaying her head to the cheerful music coming from her phone. The doorbell rings. Amal puts the music off and goes to open the door. It's Rebecca, her social worker.
Rebecca, come in.
Hello? Are you having a party here? I could hear the music from the stairs.
Just felt like listening to music.
Well, someone is in a great mood today.
Actually, I am.
Okay, so what's the news?
Remember the flyer from the volunteering role in the fabric shop?
Yes.
I went there this morning, and I'll be starting volunteering tomorrow.
Oh, how exciting. Well, that's great news, Amal.
Yes, I'm so happy. Oh, silly me. Come in, have a seat. Would you like a cup of tea?
A cup of tea would be great, thank you. So, you're starting tomorrow?
I am. It felt so good when I entered that fabric shop. It reminded me of my hometown.
That's so nice, Amal. I'm so glad.
Amal brings the teacups, gives Rebecca her cup and sits next to her. They sip from their tea as they chat.
Edith, the lady who runs the shop, is a lovely woman. I enjoyed chatting to her this morning.
Sounds positive.
I hope so.
Oh, I'm so glad, Amal. I've been concerned about you. You've been constantly refusing to go to events or meeting people.
Yes, I know. I still find it a little hard.
Of course. It takes a bit of time. So, Did you show Edith any of your work or designs?
I told her a bit about my work back home and didn't show her designs or my fabric.
I'm sure she'll like your designs.
Yeah, she might.
Amazing. Oh, I'm excited for you. So, tell me your other news. Oh, how are you getting on with your English classes?
Moving up to advanced next week.
Oh, brilliant, Amal. Really impressive.
Thanks, Rebecca. I don't know what I could have done without your support.
Oh, don't mention it. I can see new note tags on the wall. This time. You know, Amal, I only speak English. I never thought about learning another language, but your determination has encouraged me to sign up for some German classes. I'm starting next week.
That's amazing. But why German?
Because I did a bit of German at school and I remember some phrases. Also, I think a holiday in Berlin would be fun.
I bet.
Oh, you also taught me some Arabic, which was fun.
Arabic test time?
Okay.
What is thank you in Arabic?
Shukran.
What is hello?
Marhaba.
And how are you? Good morning.
Sabah el Khir.
Bravo!
Thank you. Well, I wish I could speak it as well as you speak English.
Thanks. But I live here and everything around me speaks English. It makes it easier.
True. But you are a very determined woman and you've worked really hard.
Thanks.
Well, I see you're all good. Is there anything I can do? Or shall I leave you in peace now? You need to be ready for your big day tomorrow.
I actually need your help with something.
Of course.
See, I'm getting frustrated with those mouldy walls.
Yes. You mentioned it the other day. I thought an inspector was coming from the council.
An inspector was meant to come 2 days ago, but no one has turned up.
That's a shame.
I called the council like 100 times. They said if I could open the window for air, they said I could open the window for air if I'm struggling with mold smell.
You can't keep the windows open in such cold weather. It's not good for your asthma. Now, did you call the council again when the inspector didn't turn up?
I didn't. I was angry and frustrated. Can you do it for me, please?
Of course, I can. Now, shall we call them now?
Please, if you have time.
Sure.
She starts dialing a number, then listen to it as it rings. One of our officers will be with you shortly. You're number 14 in the queue.
Oh, number 14. What a pain.
14 is nothing.
It might take a while.
It will take a while. Would you like another cup of tea? Or I could make us dinner?
Oh, no, don't trouble yourself.
Rebecca is waiting patiently for the call to be picked up.
How are your community friends? Are you in touch with them?
They're fine. I go to their gatherings. I go sometimes, but I'm not keen.
I noticed that.
It's not always my cup of tea.
I get that. What was her name? Your friend who keeps asking you to come?
Shireen. She's nice, but she has some ideas which she doesn't seem she'll ever change.
You're number 10 in the queue.
What ideas?
The community ideas, the identity ideas. She feels we should stick to each other, keep our culture, speak our language.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing is wrong with that. I appreciate my culture and my language. But I also appreciate the new culture and the new language. I'm not home and I won't be able to go home anytime soon. I live here now and this is my home. And this is my new identity. Something new that's a mix of Arabic and Scottish.
I like it.
So do I.
Oh, hello? It's Rebecca Wilson from Social Services. Yeah, I'm calling on behalf of Amal Rashad, who lives at 63 Macintosh Tower. Yep, Amal has been living with mouldy walls in her flat for over a year now. She was expecting an inspector to visit 2 days ago, but no one's turned up. Yes? Yes. The earliest possible, please. It's cold and she can't keep the windows open all the time. Yes. All right. Okay. That's in 2 weeks' time.
Can't it be earlier?
Can't it be earlier? No? Okay, that's fine. Yep, we'll take it. But please make sure they turn up this time. Thank you.
Better than nothing.
Yes. I hope it gets sorted.
Thanks very much, Rebecca.
You're welcome. Now I think I should head off now. I'll hopefully see you next week.
That's great.
Good luck for tomorrow.
Thanks.
I'll pop in again at our usual time on Monday. I'll see you then.
See you then.
Rebecca opens the door and leaves. Amal closes the door behind, then goes back to her sofa and continues folding the clothes. Amal's flat, bedroom, night. Amal is asleep in her bed. Some background noises are building up. Amal is moving in her bed, disturbed. Sounds of bombs, screams, people running. She sits up in her bed, trying to calm down. She mumbles some prayers under her breath. She gets up from her bed and speaks to the audience.
These sounds, these noises, the bombs, the screams, the children crying, they're still in my head. I wish I could get them out. Whenever they're gone, they come back haunting me, the same nightmare. The drones. Can you hear them? Can you see them? They're flying low. You know what that means? They're finding their targets. Oh God. They're targeting our neighborhood. They're sending warplanes.
Sounds of warplanes, screams of people and cries of children.
Run! Get out of here. Hide. Don't cry. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Come with me. God protect us. God!
Amal kneels, covering her head as the sounds of bombs rattle the stage.
An attack. Save us. God be with us.
Amal is weeping and praying as we hear more bombs. Smoke covers the stage. Amal stands.
They're gone. The planes. They're gone. Our neighborhood. My neighborhood. My people. Oh God. How helpless I am. I wish I could stop this. I wish I could save them all. I will be fine. I will get through it. Today is better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be better than today. Inshallah. God willing.
Amal walks back to her bed. Edith's fabric shop, day. Edith is sitting behind her desk on the phone with a customer.
Of course. Yeah, I have a few options for you, which would go well with your living room.
The door of the shop opens with Amal letting herself in.
Good morning.
Yes. It's something new it is. Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to come round. Would this afternoon suit? 2 o'clock? Great. Yeah, I'll see you then. Take care. Good morning, Amal. Welcome to your first day. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So, that was Mrs. Robinson on the phone. She's a regular customer. Lovely lady, although she's quite hard to please. Always looking for something new and fresh.
Sounds like an adventurous lady. Does she have good taste?
Yes, she does have good taste. I've visited her house a couple of times and she seems to enjoy interior design.
Nice.
I'll take her some samples of the new collection I have and drop by at her place this afternoon. She's quite elderly, not very mobile.
I see.
So, shall we start?
Good idea.
They both go to the rolls of cloth and Edith lifts one.
Okay. I think we could start putting those on that shelf and we'll need to label them clearly.
Sure. This is cotton here. This is silk. And you have some nylon. So, what made you open this fabric shop?
Good question. Well, I'm not from a family of drapers like you. I'm not a draper myself either. I have a degree in economics. I discovered my love of fabric only a few years ago and decided to change career.
That's brave.
Thanks. You think so?
Of course.
So I took a few courses, then managed to get a small grant to start up. I opened this shop last year and it's been doing okay. Hoping to expand eventually. Have you volunteered with anyone else?
Yes, I volunteered to help with organising refugee events with the council, but I have been mainly studying English in the last 2 years.
Did you know any English before you came here?
A little bit. I was good at English at school back home. Not as good as now, though. Before moving here, I was in Turkey for 2 years and used my little English to communicate.
You were in Turkey?
Yes. It wasn't great. Very unsettling.
Oh. Sorry to hear that. What were you doing there?
I went there with my brother to buy fabric. It was meant to be a month trip. We were forced to stay for much longer. The attack on Gaza happened and we got stuck in Turkey and we couldn't go back home.
How awful. How about your family? Are they all right?
All gone.
I'm really sorry.
We signed up with the UN. The UN relocated me here. My brother was relocated to Sweden. So happy ending.
Well, I'm glad you're here, safe and well. And I hope people here are good to you.
People are nice. Occasionally, there are some unpleasant encounters with people who think I'm here to steal their food. Or they think I invented the war only to come here.
Please, don't listen to those...
We have a saying in Arabic. I took this bitter choice because I lived the most bitter. No one will leave home and move to a different place to start from scratch unless they're forced to.
Of course.
I'm hoping to go to Sweden this summer and visit my brother.
Sounds great. Oh, how good to be reunited with him. Sweden is lovely. I'm sure you'll have a great time.
Thanks. I finished with the rolls here, and they all have labels.
Oh, that's neatly done. Thanks, Amal.
Should we start with those rolls over there?
Cup of tea?
Yes, please.
And it's no milk and 2 sugars.
That's right.
Edith walks to her little stove and puts the kettle on.
So, Amal, have you made any friends here?
Yes, some. We meet at events organised by the council or charities that supports refugees.
Do you enjoy them?
Sometimes. Sometimes not.
Why sometimes not?
They pity me because I turned 35. Still not married, don't have children. For them, this is the most valuable thing.
It's valuable to have a family, but there are other valuable things too.
That's what I think too. How about you? Married? Any children?
I was married, got divorced 4 years ago.
Sorry to hear.
Oh, don't be sorry. It wasn't a great relationship, and I should have ended it earlier.
Were you together for a long time?
We were together for 2 years, then 5 years of marriage. 7 altogether.
7 years is a long time.
Yes. No children. Well, I had 2 miscarriages.
Oh. Sorry to hear that.
I must admit that part of me didn't want to have children with my ex.
Were you unhappy?
Very unhappy. Foolish me. I thought if I had a child, things would have worked out between us. Took me a while to realise we'd reached a dead end. I'm better off without that relationship.
Well, you're an independent woman and you own your own business. The last thing you need is an unhappy relationship.
Thanks. And you're absolutely right.
Do you feel lonely sometimes?
Sometimes. But my shop is my companion. How about you?
I do feel lonely. Rebecca's weekly visits are my consolation. She's a good friend.
That's nice. You could consider me a friend too.
I could, on one condition.
And what's that?
Come to mine for dinner. I will make us a Palestinian meal.
That sounds lovely. What is it like? Like Palestinian food?
Well, you'll have to come round and see for yourself.
But please don't go to any trouble.
It's no trouble at all. See, I can break away from many things in our culture, except for one thing. We love sharing our food.
Well, this sounds very generous.
So, weekend?
Weekend it is.
Edith gives Amal her cup of tea.
Right. I'm going to take these samples to Mrs. Robinson's. I hope something appeals to her.
I will continue tidying the rest of the rolls.
Great. I'll be back soon before closing time. Right.
Edith puts her cup of tea down and picks up the sample books and heads off. Amal puts her cup of tea down, the lights fade out slowly. Amal's flat, day. Amal is arranging some plates of food on the table. A flower vase is sitting in the middle of the table. Her landline rings. With excitement, she picks it up.
Hello?
Hello, stranger. You're being distant.
Yeah, sorry. Just needed some space.
Space from your own people, really?
Not that. I've been busy. I started volunteering at a fabric shop.
A fabric shop. That's good news. What do you like to do?
Yes, I'm very pleased. Edith, who runs the shop, is very nice.
Oh, good, good. But listen, the lady might be nice, but she won't genuinely care. Your people will.
I know, and I value that.
Well, then don't distance yourself. Come, next weekend. It'll be fun.
Sure.
What's your other news? What have you been up to?
Yeah, just the shop. Listen, I got to go now.
Why? We are still
Sorry,
chatting.
another time.
Really?
I'll call you later, Shireen. Bye now.
Amal hangs up the phone. She gets a hot tray out of the oven using the kitchen mittens, then places it on the table. The doorbell rings. Amal gets excited. She adjusts her hair and her dress. She opens the door. Edith is at the door.
Hi, Amal.
Edith, please come in. Thanks for coming.
You look lovely.
Edith takes off her coat and hangs it up. She's brought a box of chocolates. She hands it to Amal.
This is just a small thing.
You really shouldn't have.
Oh, it smells delicious. That's a lot of food too.
It's really nothing.
How long did it take you to prepare all that food?
Only a few hours.
Only a few hours? You've gone to a lot of trouble, haven't you?
Not at all. It made me happy making this food. Please sit down, make yourself comfortable. I have made a Palestinian dish. It's called musakhan.
Musakhan.
I cook the onions with sumac spice and Palestinian extra virgin olive oil.
Sumac. I don't think I know this spice.
It's spice made of the flower of sumac plant. It's got a deep red color and a lemony taste. Would you like to try?
Yes, please.
So, this is flat bread topped with cooked onion and a piece of chicken and a sprinkle of pine nuts. Go ahead, try some.
This is a new taste. Very new.
Did you like it?
I do quite like it, actually. No, this is very nice, Amal. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know, I miss family gatherings, the joy of family and relatives meeting over food.
I bet you do.
Would you like some salad?
Oh, yes, please. Oh, so delicious. I honestly don't remember the last time I was invited to such a feast.
You can come here anytime.
This is so generous of you, thank you. I heard the Arabs are very generous.
When it comes to food sharing, we are.
Edith notices the English words stuck on Amal's wall.
Are you using them to learn new words?
Oh yes. This is how I learned my English. You see, you didn't see my house the first year I was here. I labelled everything around the house with English name tags. I knew little English back then. It was frustrating not to be able to communicate. I found it tough.
I wish I could speak another language as well as you speak English. You know, I did Gaelic at school, but it didn't go well.
What is Gaelic?
Well, it's a language that's native to Scotland. It's been spoken by the Gaels for over 1,500 years. Yeah, it's part of Scottish heritage and identity.
Is it still spoken in Scotland?
Not widely, sadly. There is still a small number who speak it, but that number declines every year.
That's a shame.
It is a shame. So, I know that Arabic writes from right to left, not like English.
That's right. Let me show you something.
Amal gets up and walks to the corner, gets a box of fabric.
See? These are pieces of fabric I kept from home. Look at this one.
Amal shows Edith a piece of fabric.
Arabic calligraphy designs. We used to sell these designs back home.
They're beautiful and new. I don't think I've seen anything like it. Actually, you know what? We could add these designs to our collection in the shop.
That'd be great. Maybe some Arabic and Gaelic calligraphy?
It's a great idea.
I meant to say, is it okay if I come on Monday afternoon? I'm expecting a visit from the council in the morning.
Of course, that's fine.
I've been waiting for this visit for ages. See, my walls are suffering from mold. I keep scraping the walls, but the mold keeps coming back again.
Mold is a serious problem.
Yes, I've been arguing with the council for a year now about the solution for the problem.
A year? That's a long time. You don't have to put up with that.
What could I do?
Ask them to move you to another house.
I couldn't ask that.
Why not? It's your right.
I couldn't ask for much. I mean, I'm a guest after all, and can't be a heavy one.
You're not a guest, Amal. Don't feel this way. This is your home now. It's the council's responsibility to provide you with safe and suitable housing. Don't hesitate to ask for your rights.
Amal's flat, day. Amal is sitting on her sofa and folding some washing, sorry. The doorbell rings and she goes to open. It's Rebecca.
Hi there.
Hi, Rebecca. Nice to see you.
Oh, you too. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
How's it going at the fabric shop?
It's going very well. I'm really enjoying going there.
Oh, very good. Oh, and how did your appointment at the job centre go?
The usual, except this time I felt more pressure from them on getting a paid job. Of course, I don't want to live on benefits forever, but I'm hoping to get a paid job with Edith.
I see. Did Edith talk about hiring you? Maybe you want to discuss this with Edith?
Yeah, in the right time.
Jeez. Look at this mould. It smells bad. And did the council send anyone?
A man from the council was here this morning.
And what did he say?
He looked at the walls and took photos. He said it's serious and I should expect a call from the council soon.
And did he say when is soon?
I asked the same question. He said in a couple of days.
Okay. We'll give them a couple of days. If they don't get in touch, phone them up.
The phone rings.
Excuse me. Hello?
Hi, Amal.
Oh, Shireen, hi there.
You didn't turn up yesterday.
Yeah, sorry, how was it?
Good fun. Why didn't you come?
Just was a bit tired.
Why? Is that Scottish lady overworking you for nothing?
She is not overworking me.
Ha, let me guess. You are not getting paid, are you? And you're broke. Same old thing.
It's not about money. I like what I do.
She clearly knows that and enjoying it.
What do you want, Shireen?
I want you to stick to your community. It's only us who care about you.
Thank you. But I think I can decide for myself. So please stop telling me what I should and shouldn't do.
Oh. Well, that's a new tone. Okay, Amal. I won't tell you what you should or shouldn't do. Bye. Are you okay?
Just being nagged by a friend about going to the community events.
You still don't feel like going?
I can't stand them pitying me for being 35 and not being married.
It's awful. You know what's best for you. Okay. I better get going for my next visit. Now, anything else I can help you with before I go?
It should be fine, thanks.
Great. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Rebecca leaves. Amal walks back in, puts her kitchen gloves on and a face mask, then uses bleach to clean the mouldy wall. The fabric shop, day. Amal enters the fabric shop to find Edith busy measuring some fabric.
Hi, Amal. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
So, I received a new collection today. They're lovely. How should we display them?
I don't mind.
Is everything all right?
Yes.
Well, I'm hoping to expand our collection. You've inspired me, Amal. Applying for a loan to get some new equipment. Maybe we should start making our own fabric, same as you did back home. What do you think?
Good idea.
I thought you'd be excited.
I am.
Wouldn't you like to create new designs?
I would like that. But it requires time and effort.
Of course. And a great talent. like you. Oh, new fabric designs would definitely bring in new customers. Okay. Oh, how should we display these? How about we have them standing in the corner?
Edith moves to the corner and starts putting the rolls of cloth up. She unfolds one of them.
I could use some pins to put the fabric up. Amal, could you please hand me the box of pins on the desk?
Amal sighs, picks up the box of pins to hand to Edith. Amal's flat. Amal is on the phone.
Hello? Yes? Yes? No one has called, no. Please, I don't want to wait any longer. Yes. My hands are sore from scraping the walls and I've been coughing all day. I have waited long enough and this is not acceptable. You can't treat people this way. Please help me sort this issue out. Thanks.
She hands up the phone. The lights change. Amal walks towards the audience and talks to them.
Why? Of all places in the world, I was born in Gaza. I always wonder how different my life would be. Easier? Better? Less struggle? Would I have been more successful? Or would it be another struggle of a different kind? God, this is so draining. God, I'm tired of fighting. God, forgive me. I don't mean to question you, but why? Why? Why simple things have to be a struggle for me? Why can't I get something without having to go through so much struggle? Forgive me, God. سامحني. I'm exhausted and praying for your mercy. أنت رحيم. أنت رحيم يا رب. وكل إيمان فيك.
Amal walks away. A new day. Amal puts on her kitchen gloves and starts her daily routine of scraping the walls. A knock on her door surprises her. She takes off the gloves, gets the door. To her surprise, Edith is standing at her door.
Hi, Amal.
Edith, hi.
Sorry to appear at your door without any warning. Are you going to let me in?
Yeah, of course, sorry. Come in, please.
I was worried about you.
Worried about me?
Yes. You looked unhappy and I think I take some responsibility for that. So I came here to apologise in person and to make things right.
I'm not sure what you mean.
I'm sorry, Amal. I didn't mean in any way to take advantage of you.
Would you like to have a seat?
Sure. Is that bleach I'm smelling?
Yes, it is. I've been trying to clean my moldy walls. My hands are aching from the daily workout.
God, what a pain. Did the council send anyone yet?
They did. A little while ago I was on the phone telling them they shouldn't treat people this way. And I asked for a solution.
Good for you.
Would you like a cup of tea or coffee?
No, I'm fine, thanks. Look, I came here to apologise. Also, to share some good news with you. Well, I mentioned to you that I applied for a loan, didn't I?
You did.
Well, I got it.
Congrats.
I decided to buy a weaving machine. Well, a vintage one, like the one you worked with back home.
Really?
And this machine is yours to produce the fabric you want to design. Well, you mentioned a few times how you liked weaving and designing your own material. I thought it would be great to have a collection we make instead of buying fabric in.
Nothing is as great as making your own fabric. Just the feel of it in your hands is amazing.
I thought this would make you happy.
Are you saying you're hiring me?
No, I'm not hiring you. I don't think you should be hired for making and designing fabric in the shop.
But how? I don't think this is fair.
You're right. It's not fair. What's fair is that you should be a partner.
What?
I would like you to be my partner. Let's run this shop together and make it grow bigger. What do you say? Would you be up for that?
I don't know what to say.
You don't have to decide now.
I wasn't expecting this.
Think about it.
To be a partner in a fabric shop, to have a weaving machine and make my own curtains, my own designs. That's way better than what I have ever dreamt of.
You've earned it.
We're interrupted by Amal's landline ringing.
Excuse me. Hello? Yes. Yes, that's right. The man came in and inspected the walls. He himself said it's quite bad. Yes. To move to a new flat? Yes, of course I would love that. That's great news. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. In 6 months? Can't it be earlier than 6 months? But 6 months is a long way away. No, it's okay, I'll take it. I'll wait 6 months. Sure. Thank you.
Good news?
A new flat soon? I think I can wait 6 months.
Not bad.
Thanks so much for coming round. I would like very much to be your work partner. And I promise to put all my efforts into it.
I have full faith, Amal. But since you're my partner now, we need to discuss our plans ahead.
Of course. How about I make tea and we talk as we eat?
Don't trouble yourself.
No trouble at all. I'll make mujaddara. It's easy and quick. Rice cooked with green lentils and caramelized onions.
Sounds different.
You'll like it. Willing to try?
Willing to try. I'll give you a hand.
Amal picks up a couple of onions.
I will need to chop these. Should I let you make the salad?
Yes, I can make the salad.
And I will cook the green lentils first.
As the women get started with making the food, the lights go down. The end. Thank you very much. We'll just take a wee 5-minute comfort break and then we'll have a wee Q&A. Thanks so much, everyone. Well done. Thanks so much. Right. So really it's over to you. So if anyone would like to start with some kind of response or comment, something you thought was strong, something you thought was weak, do please volunteer yourself.
ماثيو عم بيقول انه اي حدا منكم بيحب يعطي اي رد فعل، في عنده شي ملاحظة رح يحب يحكيها، فرجاء تبدوا ملاحظاتكم.
Andy.
It's a first draft, correct? I thought it was fairly anodyne.
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 Right.
It's a sort of story, or a bit of a story.
Uh-huh.
There's the one scene where Amal in the night, has a trauma.
Uh-huh.
But I kept waiting for something more specific, more pointed to occur.
Uh-huh.
But then it's a narrative of her life and her, the start of the career.
Uh-huh.
But it's quite simplistic. It doesn't really grab you.
Uh-huh. So you felt sort of underwhelmed by it all.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm being.
Yeah. No, I think honesty is admirable.
From experience, as you work through it, as you evolve the script, it will become more effective and more pointed.
Uh-huh. Right.
So for the anodyne words, I don't know what exactly the translation into Arabic. I understand the concept.
It's a bit like lifeless.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's a harsh criticism.
So الناقد هون عم بيقول انه شوي كانت القصة تنقصها حيوية وحياة أكثر انه تكون موجودة في الرواية. واضح انه هي الرواية هي رواية شخصية لأمل، ولكن كان متوقع منها أكثر من هيك انه يكون فيها عمق أو تعقيد أكثر من هيك، فهي بسيطة كانت برأيي.
Would anyone like to comment on that?
I disagree.
أي تعليق الممثلة هون عند سارة أنه لا توافق على هذا الرأي.
And I feel like there's a lot in the imagery of the moldy flat and the colorful fabrics. I feel like there's a lot. It's the skeleton of a journey, but I think the journey is there. It's really about teasing out the tensions in the script in terms of lifeless or simplistic. I don't think it's simple at all. I think she's juggling a lot of elements and bringing that together is hard. Yeah.
Sorry, I wouldn't say lifeless. That was your word, not mine.
Sorry, how would you interpret it?
Anodyne is it's a bit middling. I agree with what you say.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot in how the dialogue is taken forward, and obviously the setting is going to point to that as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say lifeless at all.
Okay.
أخطأنا في ترجمة القصة الحيوية أو فسارة بتقول إنه لا توافق لأنه في كتير من الأشياء اللي كانت عن وصف الغرفة اللي كانت فيها والرطوبة والقماش، كان في كتير رموز بتوصل أفكار أعمق من ما إنه هي الواضحة البسيطة الواضحة من خلال الرواية. كان في كتير أشياء تانية عم تعطي عمق للموضوع هذا. فهو الأخ حتى نفسه بيقول إنه ما كانت الترجمة دقيقة لأنه هي تنقصها الحيوية، لا الموضوع مو هيك، بس إنه في شيء نوعا ما من البساطة أو التوسط في العمق يعني خلينا نقول.
I was just going to come back to those comments as well. I also think that there was a great shape to the play, and I can see that narrative, and it really brought out the character of Amal was wonderful. Like it clearly had a lot of life in her and a lot of life in the play. And I agree. I'm really interested to know. You mentioned at the beginning that there might be more sections in Arabic. And I'd be really curious to know which sections they could be, like whether the dialogue between Amal and Shaheen, for example, and perhaps when she's, on her own at night. And I think for me, I agree. I think the kind of the intensity that perhaps some people felt was lacking maybe could come from that dialogue and those and kind of the way she can play with those different elements that clearly are there in her as a character so brilliantly. So I'd be interested to see how that could work in Arabic as well as in English as well.
السيدة إنك بتقول إنه كان في كثير عناصر أغنت الرواية تبعت أمل يعني ورسيام الحوار مع شيرين كان كمان واضح إنه فيه يعني بعد أعطى الرواية شيء بس وهي بتعتقد إنه الرواية بشكل عام أو المسرحية كانت جيدة. وبتتوقع انه كل ما تم ادخال مزيد من اللغه العربيه خاصه في الحوارات مع شيرين راح يكون يعطيها عمق اكثر او غنى اكثر للروايه والمسرحيه.
John?
It felt to me, it was interesting, it felt to me more like a film than a play. Because there were so many nice images in it, and I could imagine them cinematically, but it felt quite documentary in the sense it felt like a slice of a reality in which there are two positive things happening. I mean, the relationship between Amal and Edith is working very well, and they are both positive. Edith is not, in fact, trying to exploit her at all. Although Amal is made to wonder this. But, in other words, that is a positive thing that's going on. And at the same time, there's also a positive thing going on with the council, because eventually the council give in. And although it's going to be 6 months, they give in. But I can see what our friend means, because there's a little bit of tension in it when the friend tries to persuade her that she should stay with her own people and not listen to the foreigner. And that seemed to me to have the germ of tension. And I wasn't sure whether Amal felt that at all or not. She didn't. I wanted to hear a little bit more about that difficulty. Obviously, it is a difficulty for someone in that position. But I in a sense, it was there and then it disappeared. And I wanted to hear a little bit more about it, and I wanted to have her grappling with it and dealing with it. It was a bit of grit in the system, which was actually quite useful to have dramatically, it seems to me.
السيد هنا بيقول انه جون بيقول انه كانت سينمائيه اكثر مما انه هي مسرحيه، هذا بالاضافه لانه كان في ثقلين تقريبا خلينا نقول في المسرحيه، كان في مواضيع ايجابيه اللي هي انه شراكه العرض الشراكه اللي عرضته إديث على امال، وانه كيف حصلت العرض من الكونسل للبيت كمان لامال، بس كان في حدث كثير كان هو شده وحس انه هو فيه يعني بيقدر يعمل جذب اكثر او حركه اكثر على المسرحيه، هي موضوع علاقه امال مع شيرين وكيف عم يحاولوا يشدوها لمجتمعهم ويخلوها تصير جزء يعني تندمج اكثر في مجتمعهم. هذا الجزء شده كثير وكان بتمنى انه يشوف تطور لهالخط او لهالحدث هذا اكثر بكثير من اللي صار، وبتفهم ليش انه الاخ هنيك قال انه في تبسيط كان للموضوع، لانه كان يعني الحدث اللي ممكن يسحب المسرحيه لعمق وتفاعل اكبر انتهى. كان هو عم بنتظر اللي هو علاقتها مع شيرين، كان هو عم بنتظر اكثر انه يتطور هالخط بالمسرحيه.
And it's interesting you say that because Razan is a filmmaker. That's her main craft as a artist. Yeah.
I can see all those colours, you see.
Yeah.
But lots of nice, somebody said, there's lots of nice colours there. There are pictures in the script. And I would like to say, and of course, all these quick changes, these little short scenes, they lend themselves much more, it seems to me, to video than to. It will be difficult. It will be difficult in the theatre to make them. To make it work.
I don't think so.
You're a director.
الصور اللي كانت في المسرحية كانت كتير قوية وغنية يعني فهي صور تعطي يعني تقدر تخلي الواحد يتخيل سواء المحل أو البيت أو إلى آخره. هدول كانوا صور كتير فيها شرح وغنى. هو بيشكك إنه كان ممكن يطبق هالصورة هي يقدر ينتجها المسرح مثل السينما. ماثيو قال لا ممكن يعملها هالشيء هذا. وسارة أضافت إنه بالأصل رزان هي صانعة أفلام بالأخير، هي صانعة سينما يعني فأكيد هي هالموضوع هذا كان جزء من المسرحية مؤثر فيه.
Yeah, there's a couple of people who have their hands up before you, Virginia. John?
Yeah, a couple of quick things. Usually when you go into the theatre these days, a couple of minutes after you sat down, you know what's going to happen. Basically, with this, I absolutely didn't know which way it was going to go at the end, and I think that's fantastic. The second thing with that was, it's a happy ending. That's in this kind of story. That's fantastic. It was so good to see that. Really happy.
Yeah.
The third thing is it's interesting with the volunteering thing, because the statutory services, certainly the ones that I've come across, tend to look at volunteering as a good outcome. Oh, it's brilliant, you've got a volunteering thing, that'll lead to a job. Oh, really? Whereas actually amongst the refugees, there's a lot of volunteer burnout. You know, that they've been told this, and at first they were fine with it, and now it's like, why are you sending me off in another, you know, circle of this? And I just thought it'd be interesting. I mean, it obviously can't dominate the relationships of the role of volunteering in this play, but just a reference to that. You know, people have had enough of volunteering, and it isn't fair. Yeah. The lack of aspiration for people within the statutory services, I think, is a problem. Oh, and I agree with Matthew, but of course you could.
الأخ هنيك بيقول إنه حالياً أي واحد بيروح على المسرح بعد دقيقتين ببداية المسرحية بيقدر يتخيل إيش أو يعرف إيش نهايتها. الجميل كتير كان في المسرحية إنه هو ما قدر يتخيل ما هالشيء ما تحقق هالشيء وقدر تحصل على تشوق يعني تشوق لمتابعة المسرحية الأخيرة. الشيء الثاني الحلو كان فيها إنه نهاية إيجابية كانت في المسرحية وهذا شيء كتير حلو كان بالمسرحية. وقليل والشيء اللي بيحكي عنه الملاحظة انه موضوع التطوع تم استغلاله كثير بالنسبة للاجئين في هذا البلد يعني او بشكل عام وحتى صار يعني اللاجئين عموما ملوا صار عندهم ملل من قصة التطوع لأنه تم استغلالهم وأكثر من مرة أنه تطوع وبعدين يعني وصلوا لنقطة وبعدين بدنا شيء حقيقي يعني ما بدنا بس فموضوع التطوع تطرق له المسرحية بشكل كثير مفيد برأيي.
Now, just before we carry on, I'm very conscious that Lara and her daughter Hannah have to catch a train and have to go in like a couple of minutes. So I'd just like to ask you, Lara, if you want to make a response to the play.
To be honest, it makes me cry, me and my daughter, and it makes us laugh. We are displaced. We are not refugees because my daughter is British, but she born in Syria and lived in Syria until we came in 2013 to here. So she's been through trauma, exactly the same what, and I still remember. Sorry, I have to say that, but I still remember the first time the first year we were here. And we were living in Bath because I was doing a master's degree in Bath, and she touched the ceiling and she said, "Oh, the houses in Syria is much better than here. Here it's wood, and if any bombs come, it will be destroyed directly. while in Syria our house is stone, so it will survive much longer.
Mhm.
I still remember that.
Mhm.
And she's been through all the difficulties we
Mhm.
all. But again, the play make us laugh. So I think it touched us very
Mhm.
much, and it's very good. And thank you very much. You did it brilliantly, brilliant, both of you. We love it.
Well, thank you so much. I think you better go and catch your train.
Yes.
Well, we will carry on this discussion. I think Leslie, I think you had your hand up.
Yeah, I did. I just wanted to, the point about the documentary style, that struck a chord with me, and I thought there's two really nice, strong visual metaphors in this, and one is the mouldy wall, and the other one is the food. And it seems to me that they balance each other out really nicely. Obviously, this is our first read through, but I just think we could do something with that to really bring out the kind of metaphorical weight there. And the other point I was going to make about the volunteering, I have my doubts about Edith. I'm sitting here thinking, is Edith too good to be true? I wasn't too sure. So again, yeah, that sort of doubt, that question mark, I think, over that whole topic could be
Yeah, and there's a degree of kind of naivety about Edith as well, you know, which means that she's not necessarily meaning to exploit or take advantage, but, you know, kind of does by default in a way, you know.
It's quite easy to do.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we have talked about is if this were to be produced, for the play to kind of spill over into an actual meal with the audience at the end, so that's a possibility. But Virginia, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I thought it was so beautifully read, absolutely beautifully read, and the characters are beautifully drawn, and I actually loved the way that Edith, you know, I was relieved that she had come to her senses, you know, and I thought she did make that journey, and that was very heartening. I suppose I feel very much, as a theatre director too, is there needs to be a reason for a play being in the theatre and not in a film or on television, for me.
Sure.
And in this play, it's something very moving about the fact that she's chosen to write about such ordinary things, seemingly, which of course are ordinary. I mean, of course there are awkward things and awkward adjustments going on, but nevertheless, when you come from a war zone, that is something very, very sort of, you know, such a relief about at least it being like that, even though it's not satisfactory. But there is this enormous elephant in the room, which is this pain and memory that she's carrying with her every day that nobody else can see. You know, of course, the people that can see it are her own community. Although, of course, it's funny that what she can't stand is the fact that they think she should be married. You know, that's very nice. But I just was curious to see. And I don't know if it's a question whether Razan could think more about how that's expressed, that, you know, the other stuff without making it cliche, which of course it so often can be. You know, and I don't know quite whether it could be something very physical, or it could be something to do with the place that you put it, or it could be a juxtaposition of things that are being done physically while other or more ordinary interactions are going on. I don't know what your thoughts are about that, Matthew.
Well, I'm not sure myself, but I should have mentioned earlier that Razan can't be here because she's ill at the moment, and I'm very sorry she's not here. But if you're watching, Razan, we're sending you lots of love. Yes, I don't know what the answers are to all those things, you know, and in a way, you know. It's an interesting kind of stage of the process for the playwright, because you know, we don't want to dictate a lot of things. We just want to really kind of stimulate sort of possible directions for her to take in writing it. So sorry if that's a bit of a kind of fence-sitting answer, but John.
Do you not think somebody like Edith, with, you know, her education, etc., would know more about what's happening in Gaza? And there was no mention of Israel.
Not necessarily,
Right.
and we don't know exactly what. I know she is a university graduate, but I don't
No,
know.
yeah, we talked about this, and I was saying, as someone from Egypt, you'd be surprised at how people just are like, don't know anything about. Like, I came in 2011 when there was a revolution, and people were like, oh, something's happening back home, right? And it's like, but they don't, like, a lot of people here, I'd say, from various backgrounds, don't necessarily, they know roughly that there's something happening, but they wouldn't quite know unless they have an interest.
I agree with what Matthew said about not wanting to tell the playwright what's right. So,
Yeah.
if that opened the door to a discussion, even though a very short one, about what the real horrors that are going on in Gaza, would that be useful?
I don't know. I quite like, so it was really interesting that Lara said it's funny, and because we had a discussion that a lot of the lines I was like, this is Arabic humor. These are jokes for an Arabic audience. Like the awkwardness of like, oh, everything Palestine is hot. I heard a giggle. There's moments of like when Edith has these moments of like, I heard Arabs are generous. It's like, who says that? Like, we were like, oh, she must have Googled, and some backpacker guy must have been like, oh, Arabs are generous, and it's just like, yeah, maybe with our food. Like, you do realize it's all like military dictatorships where they're killing us, but it's okay, she's got these really lovely moments that I was like, if you've got an Arabic audience, they're gonna get that sort of like the stuff that's said to us, and really, really nicely. But the missteps, it's all in there, and I think that's really. And there's something about Edith being totally like, because I was saying that Edith is the only person in her life where her identity as a refugee is just not. She's treating her like a human being because she's just has no idea what Palestine is. So she's like, oh, okay, great, do you want to do that? And we were talking also, there might be a really nice tension that Edith is receiving a volunteer, but the volunteer obviously has so much more experience with fabric than her, and we were like, oh, physically that might also like be a visual thing of like seeing Edith not quite knowing what to do, and Amal being much more like confident with the fabric and with what, and that's a really interesting power dynamic and tension that could be pulled out a bit more, because it's there already. So.
Maybe it's a program note.
Could be our education pack or whatever.
I guess, I was thinking of different ways maybe to bring out some of the tensions more, and maybe this, make us wonder a little bit longer about Edith, is Edith too good to be true? But I also wondered if she could actually, if we could actually see her face to face with her friend.
We talked about, we're like, we want to see
I
Shireen
think
and
those
Edith.
two might need to get together and battle it out. Whatever. Have a face to face.
Have a meal together.
Yeah. And I was thinking too about the individual scenes where she's trying to process her trauma, and I wondered if there could maybe be some kind of a link between the more that she tries to push her friend and that joining the community away, the more her traumas, like she has more of the nightmares, so maybe that might be a way to increase some tension and some drama that she can't break, that completely away from her. That is who she is. She needs to, embrace her community and as a way to start to process what's happened to her. So maybe that could be something to explore.
Great, thank you. Donna.
I think what I wanted to say is somewhat relates to what John was saying and also what you were saying, Sarah. I noticed when Lara and her daughter started crying, I saw her put her arm around her daughter and had her daughter's head on her shoulder. And when we're talking about would Edith not know this, that things were so terrible in Palestine, despite the fact that I know where Palestine is on a map and Syria is on a map, I think one becomes inured to the horror of what happens elsewhere because it's all in the news and it becomes like a movie. It becomes not real after a time. because you're personally not experiencing it. There's a lack of realness about it. And then when you meet somebody, as I've done recently, Syrian people who've moved here, and they tell you out of the blue an absolutely horrific thing that happened to them. Then when you see something in the news, suddenly you realise what it's about. So I think there'll be many people for whom it's not terribly real. And I think this play would benefit from more Arabic incorporated into it, and Jogstar has done this very successfully before with languages superimposed in the background so that you can have both languages and make the work very attractive to Arabic speakers and English speakers equally. I would say there's a huge learning experience available through this.
Lauren wanted to say something as well.
Sorry, just jumping on the back of that as well. I mean, I would agree, just as an anecdote, even through this year, I know people who don't know, I can't put Palestine on a map. And I think that it's also important to show that racism or kind of a feeling of discomfort, it doesn't have to be blatant, or it doesn't, it can be that kind of subtle misunderstanding. But I agree as well. I think the relationship with Shireen was one of the most interesting parts of the play for me, and I think you can play so much with that. And the fact that maybe not understanding where Palestine is could be a total liberation, but then also something lost as well. And I think that clearly was there in Amal, and I think that could be a really interesting way of bringing it out. And so I think it can definitely be educational, but maybe not, exactly about the conflict or whatever. So I really liked that there was that kind of naivety which can be just as powerful, both negatively and positively, I think, as a reaction.
John, you had something else to say?
Yeah, just on the point of the trauma, discussing people who have experienced these experiences, that's a specific kind of trauma. And talking to some of the services, you get, well, we've got trauma-trained counsellors here, but not in that sort of trauma. And the response was, well, we could train some of the refugees in trauma counselling. It's like, what, live to relive their own experience to help somebody. And the second answer was we could train local counsellors in Arabic, by next week. So the lack of understanding of the nature of the trauma, I think, is a bit of a problem that I've experienced, come across out here. And that it's kind of worrying that people can't see it.
I wanted to ask though, is Amal turning her back on her past? On the trauma, on her own people, on her people's lifestyle and moving? I just asked that. I don't know.
I don't know if anyone who goes through those kind of things can ever really fully turn their back on it. However hard they might try to create a brand new life for themselves. I suppose, if I was forced to give you an answer, I would say no. But in a way she is, because she's trying to create this new life for herself.
But that tension is a very interesting tension, isn't it?
Sure.
It's a tension that will cause audiences to reflect.
Yeah, well, I hope so, yeah, absolutely. And
Coming back to the original point about whether it's anodyne, I think I also felt that it needed a little bit more tension in it, which is a tension really for Amal. It is a play about Amal. And I would find that particular issue very interesting if it could be brought out more strongly. And I wanted to hear more from the angry friend.
Sure.
Yeah, we all want.
Yeah, I think that's a general feeling, I think. But I don't agree with you that it's a play simply about Amal. I think it is also about, Edith, and about Edith's,
learning, if you like, Edith's naivety, you know, Edith as a kind of representative of the indigenous white population, if you like, in a way, you know, so, yeah. Yeah,
But
sure.
Edith isn't brought face to face with that aspect of Amal's experience at the moment, is she?
Well, I mean, Amal does tell her that she's lost all her family.
Yes. Right.
You know, I mean, she is told a few things about how she can't return to Palestine. Sure, she could.
I thought that moment, Edith suddenly is faced with the reality of that. It's like you were saying, that's a really powerful moment.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
There's a silence there, and the
Yeah.
audience can absorb
Yeah.
the same thing.
I think, you know, I mean, it's kind of, you know, I mean, I understand your initial reaction to it, Andy, completely, you know. But I think it's quite a deceptive piece of writing, actually, from that point of view. Because, you know, initially when you read the play, you know, you think, well, there's not that much going on in here. But actually, the more you actually explore it, the more you discover there is actually going on.
I think what you said about the filmic qualities of it.
Sure.
You can exactly imagine how powerful that would be as a film, and the real challenge is to bring that same power into a stage production.
Yeah. 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 Oh, let's hear something from Phil, because he hasn't said anything.
Okay.
Hi, Phil.
That was great. Thanks so much for agreeing with quite a lot of this. Actually, one thing that struck me is that there's it's about fabric, it's about tension, it's about all those things. We don't actually see any cloth at all in the play. It's not really mentioned about rolls of cloth. And, oh yes, I design things. I just wonder if there's something in the imagery of this where Amal is actually creating and designing constantly to try to process her life and how she's got through all the things that happen to her, to get rid of this sort of PTSD sort of thing. And then at the end there's a creation of this fantastic tapestry type of thing which signifies all the things she's gone through. Trying to make sense of.
And that could tie in with this thing about, oh, she's 35 and not married and not children, doesn't have children. She doesn't have, but that's her, this is what she created.
Yeah.
You know?
So I was going to say as well that it is a happy ending. It is. But one thing that is set up there isn't actually resolved at all. That's about not being married. I think there's something in there to try to tie that loose end as well, because there's something that hasn't happened there, even though everything else has worked for it, more or less.
Yeah, she's bringing something rich and extraordinary to Edith that Edith didn't have before.
Yeah. So there is a kind of marriage, actually, finally, you know, in terms of partner, albeit a business partnership, but yeah, I
trying to
mean,
bring that sort of together, quite neat, I think, to tie all these.
There's one video there.
And maybe as well that the final scene would be all the friends together rather than the two of them. Because in social work, you've got the friend that she has that's sort of altercations with throughout, bring those together to make a communal type thing rather than, I mean, it is about the two of you, two main characters, but throughout all these other characters as well, who are learning languages and doing things and so on, which are all part of the weft.
sure,
Right.
the fabric of our life.
I'm on the screen behind with lots of nice images on it as well.
Yes.
While they're playing.
All right,
I like that.
we'll see what we can do. Steph?
I just want to say I absolutely loved it. For me, the piece feels like it's the extraordinary within the ordinary. And thinking about the adversity that Amal has faced, and even that she still is facing. And I appreciate, like Andy's comment about, you know, that kind of need for just a bit more tension. But actually, for me, I thought it was really beautifully written and actually really nuanced in the relationship that these characters have, that Amal has with these characters. And similarly to what John was saying, I loved that from the get-go I was like, where's the story going? I loved that I didn't know, because I felt like I was on that journey of discovery, you know, with the audience as something bigger, if that makes sense. No, I loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then, sorry, I was going to say the folding of the laundry. Oh, sorry, no, that's the folding of the laundry is that sort of really mundane domestic element. You could think, why are we watching you fold pillowcases or whatever? But it's about order, isn't it? It's about control, order, and all of those things.
Yeah. John?
On the cultural tension thing, I know the situation is a slightly different take on that, where the daughter, who's just entered her teens, wants the sorts of freedom that a girl would have naturally in this country. And the parents don't understand that, you know, because culturally there's a different expectation. It's a 35-year-old man. And the fact that there's very few people that they can talk to about that, and they don't know what to do about it, they don't know how to address it, it's getting so bad that this family's thinking about leaving Scotland. And that kind of made me think differently about, not to disagree with that situation, but that's another whole dimension. I mean, the fact is about the thing about leaving is quite extreme.
Well, we've got a happy ending. Maybe we've got an ending to this discussion. I must say, you know, what a high quality critique we've had from you collectively. Thank you very much for your time and for your thoughts and for being here. It's great to see you all, and you know, I look forward to actually producing a play on a stage soon. I hope. You never know. I'm not quite sure what else to say. Thank you very much to anyone who's been watching online, and you know, I'm sure that this will be a really useful resource, this discussion, for Razan, for how this play develops. And yeah, thanks a lot. And I think there might be some food now. So I think we can switch off from the YouTube channel. Sorry everyone. Bye. Thank you.